Imagine today you have 19 calls that are coming your way for this week. Want to know how it goes down? Stay tuned. What's up, FlowChat fam? Hey, Chris here, CEO and co-founder of FlowChat. We're having a great quality conversation for you as usual with real entrepreneurs getting real results, and today is no exception. This member is on fire. She's been kicking so much butt, and she's carved out some time for us together today to have a conversation around how do you build real relationship just in general on social and DMs and booking calls. This is a really big part of business. Now there's one little hook to this though. The hook is not just booking calls. She has a different pipeline, different strategy that she's used for some of her speaking as well. And we're going to have all of that conversation right here, right now with Miss Aya. Aya, how's it going?
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And we were already having some fun before we hit record here. So everyone's in for a treat, always with Aya. So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Okay. The way, there's always these different interviews and everyone throws the hook and then they get to it maybe later. I'm like, no, let's get right into it. So the big promise, there's like 19 calls in 1 week. What everyone doesn't know yet is that you've already over doubled that. But let's start with that first week. What was working so well for you?
So I was really fortunate. I'm so glad I went with the package where the FlowChat guys, Chris and Sean, helps with the messaging. So I was able to just use their messaging right away and just, update stuff. And so I think that was really the key because the flows were already there. The messaging was already there. I tweaked it just a little bit to have my voice, but it was really on target messaging. And I think in direct messaging, I think in DMs, it's all about the messaging. And it just worked so well. Of course, I thought it was going to work. That's why I made the initial investment. I wouldn't have made it if I didn't think that. But it worked really well because that first week I got 19 appointments. And since using FlowChat, I think I booked 49 appointments because I have a CRM and it all goes into my CRM. So it's all very clear. And I only book appointments through FlowChat. I only have that one way of doing it. So for me, I think if you really want to know, it's just getting that package and being able to have that. Because if I had to do all of the writing from scratch, I may not have taken off as quickly, but it was all kind of done good, and so once you plug and play the people, to be honest, I already had a social media strategy. I post every day. I'm a writer. So, I did have a certain amount of following so that it wasn't like I'm starting 000. And so, I was reaching out initially to my connections, not that they were my friends, but I know, they had at one point connected with me. And so that was amazing. And it's just, I think the genius of FlowChat is being able to, I have a good friend that calls it a CRM for direct messages, and just being able to follow up consistently, not lose your messages, and follow up on a cadence, that you get to decide. They just, they have a cadence, but I kind of elongated it just a little bit. And it was just, it's in the follow-up. I used to be a corporate salesperson for 20 years. So many entrepreneurs just don't realize it's in the follow-up. The magic is in the follow-up. So same thing with DMs, following up, just that second message, that third message, that last four, it's hey, the takeaway. And it was yes, let's book. Here's the book.
That's where you get some of them in. You mentioned multiple things just in that little part there that I think are really valuable. Number one is that you did start with an existing list. Sometimes people are like, oh, how do you get such quick results? I think it's important to know that we're just talking about sending messages. And so there's not really a big learning curve for that. You can do that to multiple people right now, today, within minutes. And so that it's lower tech and it's high revenue activity right away. That helps. But the other piece that also helps is the right people. And so you leveraging some of your past connections, not, friends, but people that maybe were following you or kind of new. Some people overlook that, meaning they have them there, but they don't message them. They're afraid, or how do I approach them? What's cool is you said when we have the right people, we also have the right message. You felt comfortable to send that messages to your own connections. I'm not going to put you on the spot to remember exactly what all the copy is, but can you walk us through roughly what that first message kind of sounds like, feels like?
So my very first message, I just changed it a little bit because they were already my connections. I think in the actual copy, it's like, hey, I love your content. Let's be friends. So we're already friends. So it was
Yeah.
like, hey, I know that we don't. So I did change that first messaging like, hey, we are friends. We are, we are connected, because I use LinkedIn primarily. So
Yep.
we are connected. So I think wording is important. If I was using Facebook, you should say friends. Hey, we are connected, but I haven't really made any effort to reach out to you. I haven't made any effort to go deeper. I haven't made any effort to find out about you. So here I am wanting to find out about you, want to dig deeper. And if you're interested in that, just please let me know. That was my very first message.
Very simple. I love it. Reaching out to connections to actually connect. So that's on LinkedIn. That's First Degree. So anyone listening, watching, I know we're laughing, but there's like, oh, where do I start? Where do I go? Sometimes it goes that direction. People will just won't spend the time going that direction. So anyone listening, watching on LinkedIn, First Connection, just reach out and say, hey, we're connected. Want to make an effort to go a little bit deeper.
Absolutely. That's what I did.
Yeah, and so that's perfect. That resulted in some conversation and ultimately 19 booked calls for you, that's fantastic. Now almost 50. Okay, are you still doing all the messaging on LinkedIn? Are you on other platforms?
No, I'm still on LinkedIn. I'm in it to win it on LinkedIn.
Let's go.
Right. Until I probably get to maybe, I don't know, 20,000 followers or so on. So I think LinkedIn, just for me, what I do, I'm a coach, I'm a writer, I'm a speaker. LinkedIn just works best for me. So that's the only reason why I'm on. It was also the platform that I could actually engage in. And, so I could actually engage in and then, stuff like that. So yeah.
Some people ask, oh, should I be on LinkedIn? Should I be on Facebook? It's like, look, there's billions of users on all the platforms. Right people, right message. That's how you win. And I don't know that you'd want to go beyond LinkedIn because you kind of already are at your capacity, you were saying. You're like, I don't know if I want to have any more calls right now.
Oh my goodness. That first week, like I said, my experience with FlowChat was that it was just so effective and efficient. Because, I think I put in 500 initial. I actually have about, 3,500 connections, but I had 500 people already in my inbox for some reason or another. Just, hey, can I connect, like for whatever reason. So I put those initial 500 people, and it was like way more than enough. And for me, what I do as a coach, because I have one-on-one coaching, I have group coach. There's not like, a million of people behind me. I do have a capacity. That's one thing. One of the things too, I wanted to say, what I loved about FlowChat in general is the training. I think, Sean, I have been in sales forever, and I think I have done tons and tons of sales training. Like, you just wouldn't believe. Books, tapes, CDs, podcasts, in-person trainings. And Sean is definitely like the best trainer I've had. And so he talked about this idea of, which really helped me a lot. He talked about, I have to think about it. I just like, my mind just went blank.
It happens. Yeah.
He talked about this thing that I utilized in my messages, just kind of building on the relationship. So I get a lot of messages where the person's like, hey, how are you? Thanks for liking my content. I do this. I'm this. Like, it's so much packed in one message. And it's like, okay, I just block them. I'm like,
I don't overwhelm and done.
I just block them. But, I learned, and I don't think I would have known that necessarily because I have never really marketed via a direct message before, to really space it out. And I think that's what it was, like to space it out, like, hey, wait for the response, then go back and then say this. And, he also taught where it was just like, you don't have to respond right away. It's direct message. So you just keep to your cadence. So that helped me stay disciplined. It helped me like actually do it all the time. And so I just think it was great. And then so that first week, it was like 19 appointments. And then, so he talked about in his training, like, what is your goal? Like, what is your sales goal? How many calls do you need? X, Y, and Z. And so I was very clear on that. I knew like how many clients I wanted to get. I know like what I want to do in my business. I have 2 small children. So I am not the coach that's looking for like 50 signups a month. So I knew that, and which is one of the reasons why I invested in FlowChat. I felt like it could really work for me. So I definitely got there quickly.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. And what's cool is it didn't stop there. So that was just on the client side, and FlowChat's very often used for that. But anyone listening, watching here, there are other purposes, i.e. recruiting, building a team, and there's another one that you used it for booking your first speaking gig. Can you walk us through, like, who are you talking to, and what are some of those conversations like?
So I am a speaker, and I wanted to, just for like more cash flow and just to make it easier for my life, I wanted to start incorporating corporate speaking. So I've been doing like faith-based speaking and doing that for years, but I wanted to really kind of utilize my sales skills and start doing corporate training around sales, like offering that as a product to corporations, mid-sized corporations, small corporations. So what I just sat there and kind of thought about strategy, just really thought about like, okay, like who would I get in touch with? And so I just started connecting with on LinkedIn, connecting with HR professionals. And I would just message them like, hey, how you doing? And only really people who were active. And then just ask them a question like, hey, do you guys ever outsource your training, or do you guys have in-house training? And then they would tell you what they have. And then if they did outsource their training already, it was like, okay, great. Like, what is that process? Who do you think I should get in touch with? Is that you? Is that someone else? And then from there, like, get the call, book the meeting, and then, because I really want my calendar to be booked with at least one corporate sales training event a month. And so that was really helpful, because it's just helpful, because I think what FlowChat is really helpful for as a tool in sales language, it's a great prospecting tool. It's a great tool to get you the call, and then you take it from there.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, it's a communication tool, a connection tool, prospecting tool, sales tool, somewhere in that ballpark, right? So I love hearing just different stories, use cases around, well, actually, I need to talk to more of these people. It's like, cool. Well, let's go on social, find out where they're congregating, be able to import all of them in a few clicks, and let's start building relationships with them. And your target is to have one speaking gig per month. So the target is set. All this being said, you're building a business. Go on the solopreneur route, which is awesome, and you're also speaking. You mentioned that you do some one-on-one coaching, some group coaching. Why do all the speaking, and what are the skills? And tell us more about your programs and services.
Definitely. So in terms of my coaching business, I have a couple of different businesses, but in terms of my coaching business, I coach because I love coaching. I mean, that's just it. I love coaching. I love the connection piece of coaching. I don't have the philosophy of like, here's my library of all my information and just watch it and it will by osmosis help you. And that's
Turn
okay.
this on when you go to sleep at night, and you'll
right. I think as a business strategy, you should have products. So as a business strategy, and I'm creating my first digital product, and I do have some books, obviously. So you should definitely do all of that. But my one-to-one coaching and my group coaching actually happens because I love connecting with people and I love helping them through their evolution, their entrepreneurial evolution. I specifically coach parentpreneurs. And I coach parentpreneurs because when I became an entrepreneur, I had 2 children and they were 1 and 3, right?
Yeah.
And they were little babies. I had not ever really tried my hand in business before. So I needed a lot of help. I needed a lot of resources. I needed to, do all the things that if you're an entrepreneur watching, you know what you need to do, right? You know what you need to do. And the thing was, it was difficult to find resources and coaching that incorporated the two, that, you could freely talk about business strategy, sales, KPIs, but also just really be like, listen, my kid is sick. I couldn't do anything for my business for 3 days because they had a fever. And yeah,
KPIs.
It sounds like Chris knows what I'm talking about. And then, there's a lot of language. Again, this is, everyone's path in life is different. So there's no judgment, but a lot of language like do whatever it takes. Stay up all night, go the distance.
Cold showers. Red meat. I don't know.
And I was like, actually, I'm going to have to stop this at 5 because I got to pick up my kids and take care and, So I got to breastfeed. I mean, really, my kids were so young. If you,
Yeah.
I think parents block it out because I'm pretty sure I blocked it out. But there's so much so much hands-on training. So sometimes I actually had a coach, and sometimes I would meet with that coach, and then the next week they'd be like, "Okay, what did you do?" And I would be like, "Nothing." And they'd be like, "You don't care about your business." And I'd be like, "No, that's not true. I just. So I wanted to just create a product, a service where that I could honor that it was more holistic for parents. And honor that because I super care about my business. I super want to be successful. I have plans, I have strategy, I have KPIs, I have goals I want to hit. Why? To provide a life for myself and my children. But I also really care about my children, and snuggle time is important. And I was hoping that people who needed that could come to me and feel like I could, be a service to them. Because I talk about all the stuff that business coaches are going to talk about, but I just also give you that space and room to talk about parenting. And then I think my other business, like my speaking, I've been doing that for like a long time, but then also as an entrepreneur, as you guys all know, if you're an entrepreneur watching, cash flow is king, and you want to find really innovative ways to get that cash coming. And I think that for me, I wanted to, while my portfolio of coaching clients and stuff like that were solopreneurs or really small companies and stuff like that, I wanted, sometimes they would run out of money or just whatever.
Yeah,
and I was like,
ups and
okay, well,
downs.
what can I do to not run out of money? Like,
It's a good thought.
Right? You need to pivot. And so, I have a lot of sales ability. I have a lot of communication skills. So I was like, you know what, let me start to have an offering for corporations to do sales training that they could bring me in, take me out, workshops around selling, and just the juggernaut of selling and stuff like that. So
it's kind of a thing.
kind of a thing, right? So I wanted to kind of offer that too. And that's really new. So if you're in the audience listening, you have a company and you want to, bring in someone outside to help your sales team, give me a call. But, so I just wanted to kind of incorporate that. So it's been, I think business is all about expanding your mind, and it's a combination of practicality, but also with creativity. And, don't limit yourself. The sky's the limit.
Love it. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your breakthroughs, success with everyone here behind the scenes of more, what platform you're on and the conversation you were having and reaching out, and that secondary purpose of what you're using it for. I know that'll unlock some new thoughts for people watching, like, oh yeah, I didn't know I could use it for that. So it's fun to create those epiphanies for everyone. Before we get to the last question and wrap up for today, where's the best place to find you?
Oh, I'm on every social media platform at Aya Egbuho. My name is kind of random, but you can catch me at my website, www.ayaegbuho.com. So catch me on my website. I'm there. For all of those like old school people, you can call me at 888-924-8153. I just had to say that. You
That
can
was
call
great. You were ready for that. Well played.
You can call me, but you can catch me on my website on every social media platform at Aya Egbuho.
Awesome. All right. So last question is simply a why question. In order to put yourself out there, provide a service for somebody else. If you're a musician, if you're an athlete, if you're an artist, I'd put all these different people groups where you're creating, you're contributing. It's a vulnerable place to create and put your work out there. And so you're putting your products, your services out there, you're coaching and relating and connecting with other people. It's always fascinating to me why other people do it, because not everyone leads and not everyone does that. So why do you do it?
Oh my God, it's my gift to the humanity. It's I'm good at it. It's not hard. It doesn't actually feel vulnerable. It doesn't actually feel as vulnerable as I think some people have described it. And I really do love seeing people win. I think for many years, maybe I didn't value the fact that helping someone else win is extremely valuable until I really discovered coaching. So helping someone win is so satisfying to me. I mean, it kind of rivals me winning, right? I feel like
Hmm.
You winning is me winning, right? And so I just love doing it. And I think the way I think about humanity is I think all of us have a choice and we can choose to serve humanity if we want to. Obviously there are a lot of people who don't, but you can choose to serve humanity and leave a legacy. And I also feel like folks who choose to serve humanity through the vehicle of entrepreneurship also get in return like a really wonderful life, good income and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of all just comes together for me. It serves me and it serves other people.
Well said. I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys.
FlowChat fam, thank you for spending your time and your attention here with us at FlowChat. We're talking to real people, real entrepreneurs getting real results on the front lines. I know that it's not always easy, and oftentimes it can feel lonely, but it doesn't have to be. And that's what this member spotlight is for, to listen to and hang out with other crazy, like-minded entrepreneurs like you, yes, and like me and like today. I will be bringing always fresh, great, relevant content for you on the next one. Take care, guys.